Hello, cheeseheads. Welcome to the afternoon. The halftime show. Show us what I've been drinking. I've been on the Legintas IPA. It's a beautiful drop from America. Hello, Franco. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's been a long week, and basically, if it continues like that, I'll be asleep before the game finishes. In fairness, it brightened up towards the end, and it once we scored, a bit more action. But yeah, hard going at the moment.
I agree. Seb, you all right? How you doing? Enjoying this wonderful first half?
Oh yeah, it's been brilliant. I think I was asleep with the same as the VAR. I think everyone's been asleep.
Well, let's get straight into it because we've got all of 15 minutes. We'll try and take some questions. HG, I like this one first. Are we waiting for Franco's stream to catch up? I presume that's in relation to the start time. No, but I was waiting for Franco's stream to join, so there is a good case in question there.
Yeah.
Right. Back three. Selection. Franco, talk me through it. Selection, bit odd. Going to a back three. Bit strange.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we're relying on Serge and Reggie to put in a shift and offer us some more attacking players, aren't we? And they're not really doing it so far. I don't know. It just felt negative to me. I don't know why we've taken Lo Celso out and why we've put Sissoko in there instead. It's just, yeah, it didn't fill me with confidence. And I feel like Everton, their main weakness probably is their defence. And if we got at them, we'd have a better chance. But I just feel like that negativity, I don't know, it kind of puts on the back foot from the start.
Yeah. Seb, surprised we go to a back three? I mean, it's kind of never worked for us, has it? So why do we expect it to now?
Well, we expect it to now because Everton have got no strikers. So obviously the sensible thing to do is play three at the back. I have no idea. It makes no sense at all. And I think he'll probably change it at half-time. That would be my guess.
I suppose the great thing is it's great to see Toby back in the side, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
No?
Well, we've still let them have opportunities. We haven't looked brilliant. I think the problem is that we just chop and change this team so much. It's another formation. It's another mix of players a few that we didn't really expect to see, and it looks like they are literally just a load of blokes who've never met each other before and get chucked on a football pitch and say, right, play football together. Mm-hmm. Yes, like having Toby in is probably, we look a little bit more assured at the back, but we've still let them in a few times, haven't we? So it's not been brilliant.
And on that note, John Williams says all the action was at the wrong end. Lloris made a great save to kick us off, didn't he? And then he's made about 2 or 3 great saves. Have we got Lloris to thank us for keeping us in it, Seb?
At the moment, I'd say, yeah. I mean, the first 20 minutes was... sorry, I know my screen's not great. The first 20 minutes, I would say...
It actually looks like you're in the Big Brother chair.
The diary room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm lazy and I didn't get my laptop, so I'm on my phone. But there you go. So the first 20 minutes was turgid from both sides. No one created anything. The only thing I did notice is out of all the players at the back that we had, the one who seemed to be in charge and bossing everyone around was Rodon, the player who's played 6 or 7 games. You got Toby on one side, and he was moving Toby and Dyer about. Dyer is having a shocker. Højbjerg is having a shocker, and Dombele is god awful. I mean, absolutely shocking. He's meant to be the link-up man between the midfield and the strikers, and there isn't one. And there was an occasion on about after the 2 goals where Kane won the ball just the other side of halfway, and he turned and he looked, and there was no one further forward than him. And he turned it back. He actually lost the ball, and he got a lucky rebound and found its way back to Lloris. Got nothing going forward. There's no link, like Franco says. No one's. They just look like a bunch of strangers, and they're individually talented strangers. So we might get away with it. But
what's the solution then, Franco? Tell me, what's Josie got to do at half time to turn it around? Because although we 1-1 and we took the lead, I think we've had 1 shot on goal. It was a defensive error, obviously, that led to Kane's beautiful, can I just say, beautiful finish with his left foot. Oh, lovely. I mean, not a defensive error, but their defender sort of headed it, took it out of line of the other defender. You know what I mean? Capitalised brilliantly, but we've not created anything. We look pretty turgid, as you've said. What do we need to do to mix it up? If you're Jose right now, give me your best Jose. No, don't do that. Save that for another day. Tell me what he needs to do at half time.
I think he just needs to change up a bit. Serge needs to come off because he just looks rubbish. He looks one of those games where he's not defending. He looks terrible in possession, and he's putting in very minimal effort. And I'm sorry, like, he has games like that. He has the occasional game where he's half decent, but today is not one of those. You need to recognise that. Just get him off. You know, I don't know why we're not seeing players like Bergwijn ever get an opportunity or anything. I might even just say, right, put Bergwijn in that wing back position instead of Serge today. Do you know what I mean? He would have been doing more. Yeah, it's just so frustrating to watch. So I just think we don't need to change a huge amount, but I don't know. It's just there's so many things today that just look really poor. The fact that Højbjerg got a yellow card in the first 5 minutes.
Don't help, does it?
No, because then it creates a midfield issue. Because at some point you probably think, is he going to trust him to play the rest of the half?
Højbjerg never has a good game against Everton, does he? It seems. I mean, he gave the first goal away in the last game. The first game was his debut, and he was absolutely appalling. Is it not possible we could hook him, maybe, Seb, the second half, and see someone different?
I don't know. I mean, the yellow card for me isn't that much of an issue because it's happened before where Højbjerg's got booked early and Jose trusts him not to get himself in further trouble. I think the bigger issue is he's having a stinker. Aside from that, giving the ball away, he's not tracking men. What Everton are doing is very simply they're switching constantly James and Richarlison. So James is playing central, but then drifting out left. And when he drifts out left, Richarlison comes in, and it's difficult. Toby, I don't think's looked great today, but it's because they're struggling to track the runners. It's a really simple tactic, and yet we don't seem to have got hold of it. And I think the reason for that is because we're playing a back five, and Aurier and Toby are literally handing responsibility over to each other. And there's Rodon in the middle shouting at everyone, saying, you should be here, you should be there.
In Welsh.
In Welsh, which makes it even more complicated. So, I think I think we should, I don't know, but I'd hope we go back to a back four. But I don't think Højbjerg will be the one that switches.
But then you've got options, haven't you? Because on the bench, we've got Bale, Deli's on there, Lo Celso's on there, Lucas is on there, Tanganga, we could bring him on.
Lo Celso for me would be the obvious one to bring on, really.
I think Lo Celso will come on. Lo Celso will come on for Ndombele as per earlier in the season at around 60 minutes.
What's frustrating, I suppose, is every time we see this, I mean, I joke about it and I always say, God, why are we doing three at the back again? It never works, or play three centre-backs. But because we sacrifice so much in midfield, it seems, the players we pick in midfield aren't capable of dominating a game with the wing-backs flowing up and down. And when the wing-backs don't do their job, like you've rightly said with Sergi, it just seems like we're always overrunning midfield, and it's no different tonight. It's so frustrating.
But we've got nothing. There's been moments today where Sissoko went through, Son was given the ball on the edge area. He's got 6 Everton players around him. We're not using space. We're not using the players we've got in the team. And you've got Kane shooting from the halfway line on a break because he thinks that's probably the best option.
Wasn't it? That was laughable.
Just like,
does that count as a shot? I mean, it wasn't quite on target, but yeah. The stats, what's the XG for that then? No, let's not go there. So I want to say this: we've got to talk about the penalty. We can't not talk about the penalty because, as it may, the penalty incident, as Dominic Wilson has put. Did anyone get a good look at the penalty? Looks like the striker just dragged his foot. Seb, I'm going to ask you because I know how passionate you get about these things. And then, Franco, I'm going to come to you. Is that the case? I mean, it should have been referred to VAR, and VAR should have overruled it, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I have no issue with Rodriguez going down. I have no issue with Oliver giving the penalty. The two things I have an issue with are no one on the pitch protested. Reguilon walked away like he knew he was guilty.
It did, yeah.
And then secondly is that VAR, that's what it's there for. It doesn't matter if we're protesting or not protesting. It wasn't a foul. In real time, it looked like a foul. We all messaged on the Patreon chat and went, oh, for Christ's sake, what was Reguilon doing? But he didn't actually touch him, and he certainly didn't touch his legs, which is what went from underneath him. So it should have been overturned. Yeah. What is VAR? I mean, every week it's made to look worse and worse.
Franco?
But it's the whole argument about what is a clear and obvious mistake, isn't it? Because that's what VAR is supposed to pick up on. The thing I don't get is that they'll go over and over and over in super slow-mo for a tiny little handball incident just to say, well, you missed that
offside.
But then when he's going to give a penalty and there's no contact from the defender, they're like, well, it wasn't clear and obvious. You could have given that. No, come on, we need the same level of scrutiny across the board. And as much as VAR, the soul suckiness out of the game and, all the delays and stuff like that it brings, I would be a lot more on board with it if it got all of the decisions right. And the fact is it just doesn't. Yeah. There's still a lack of consistency, the same as there always has been in refereeing decisions. It's just stupid.
Yeah. Totally agree. I couldn't agree more. When I first saw it, I thought, it's a penalty. I think the bit you picked up on, Seb, which is right, is it looked to me like everyone just accepted that it was a penalty, including, Reguilon. I just don't understand that, because surely part of the being an intelligent C is really sort of getting around the referee and sort of making him think about it. And I'm sure if they made a bit more fuss about it, there'd be a bit more scrutiny of it, surely.
It's exactly that. It's exactly what I was going to say. Is that intelligence, that game management has gone, because there is such a depressiveness kind of running through the squad now that they're not even thinking. They're not even thinking things like that. It's it's lack, or lacks, I should say, running through the squad. They're in a depressed state. And so when things like that happen, no one's contesting it. No one's even thinking of contesting it. Kane asked the question and just walked away. It's there's no passion there. They're not fired up. They're fired up for the first 5 minutes, and it only takes one thing, and it's a house of cards.
Kane said, "Oh,
So which one of the centre backs do you sacrifice? Because the problem is if we're saying that Aurier needs to come off, then that either means the centre back goes to right back, or we need to make a double defensive sub. That's the issue I've got right now.
Well, what should I tell you? What the great HG of Cheese Room is saying? He's saying,
put Toby at right back.
No, Dele on for Højbjerg, and check this one out. You didn't see this coming. Lamella for Roden. I mean, that's a strange one, to be honest.
But what? Keep Serge on, even though he's doing nothing.
Apparently so. He also does add, can we sub Mourinho off?
I think we need to get Serge off as well. I don't really have a problem with those subs, but I'd like to see Lo Celso on rather than Dele, to be fair. Yeah, Dele's done. With Jose at the helm.
Matt Gibbons says, how much longer can we carry on like this? Well, to be honest, probably another 45 minutes at least.
Well, probably another 6 games or whatever is till the end of the season, to be honest. and a cup final. We're just about to kick back off, I think, guys. So, look, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining me, and catch you after the game. And look out for Brendan doing the pod. Pod will be out tomorrow, everybody.
Absolutely, Brendan's doing the pod. He's back on it tomorrow. You may get full drunk Brendan tonight because he's gone radio silent. But anyway, we're kicking off. Come on, you Spurs! Let's have a better second half.
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Cheers, guys.